Hello everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Michaela Duncan. I am a student at Benedictine University pursuing a master's in nutrition while also completing my dietetic internship. My expected graduation is December of 2019. I am currently enrolled in an obesity class where we spend 8 weeks studying different aspects of obesity. Each student has chosen a topic related to weight loss. The topic that I have chosen is how a low-fat diet relates to weight loss. This is a topic that has been around for decades and continues to be recognized today as a method to lose weight. Often, weight loss is associated with the need to lose fat, which in turn leads people to believe following a low-fat diet equates to loss of excess body fat. It seems logical, right? Yet as we will learn today, there is often more behind weight loss than restriction of just one macronutrient. You may be asking yourself, what exactly is a low-fat diet? Well, this answer can vary. To some, it means eliminating saturated and trans fats. To others, it may mean eliminating fat from the diet altogether. Like any diet, it can be tailored to the individual and what is realistic for that person. The standard low-fat diet contains less than 30% of daily calories from fat. There are also very low-fat diets, which limit total calories from fat to 10 to 15% or less. Most low-fat diets also follow the guideline that daily intake of saturated fat should not surpass 7 to 10%. Wait, so what exactly are saturated fats? Saturated fats are solid at room temperature and mainly come from animal products such as red meat, whole milk, cheese, poultry with skin, etc. There is conflicting information related to consumption of saturated fats. Some more recent studies have determined there is not enough evidence to conclude saturated fat increases the risk of heart disease. However, other studies say the exact opposite. According to the American Heart Association, saturated fats should be limited, as they can raise your LDL, otherwise known as bad cholesterol, and therefore increase the risk for heart disease. All of this information can be pretty overwhelming, especially when reading labels at the grocery store and trying to determine what to buy. There are a multitude of marketing techniques used that can cause confusion when trying to decide what food item you are going to purchase. Looking at the picture presented on this slide, we see several different labels, including 94% fat-free, low fat, and 33% less fat. It can be very hard to decipher what these food labels mean and how they differ from one another. Clever marketing techniques can make a food appear healthy when this is not the case. Luckily, the FDA regulates food labels and therefore false claims are not allowed to be made. There are requirements that must be met in order to put a label such as low fat on a food item. Let's take a look at some of these requirements on the next slide. Fat-free means an item has less than 0.5 grams of total fat per serving. Cholesterol-free means an item has less than 2 milligrams of cholesterol and less than or equal to 2 grams of saturated fat per serving. Reduced fat means the food contains at least a 25% reduction of fat when compared to the reference food. Light, as you see on the Lay's chips label in this picture, means the product is reduced in fat by at least 50% compared to the reference food. Reference food is a term used by the FDA to represent a broad base of foods. In this case, the reference food would be a regular Lay's chips. Taking a look at this bag, the average consumer may see these labels and assume Lay's light chips are healthy. While they may be a better option than regular potato chips, they still wouldn't be considered a healthy, nutrient-dense snack. This is just one example of how companies use marketing techniques to lure consumers in. Now that we have a better understanding of what a low-fat diet is, what is the theory behind it? Essentially, fat, protein, and carbohydrates are the macronutrients that make up an individual's diet. Fat has 9 calories per gram, while protein and carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. Therefore, the thought of a low-fat diet is that since fat has more calories per gram than protein and carbohydrates, consuming a diet low in fat will result in a decrease of overall caloric intake and therefore result in weight loss. While it is true that a decrease in caloric intake will result in weight loss, low-fat diets often replace fat with easily digested carbohydrates, such as refined grains that have been processed and therefore have a reduction in nutrients and fiber. Research has shown simply eliminating fat from your diet and making no other changes will most likely not result in weight loss. What many people don't know is that once you eliminate fat from your diet, the body will store extra calories as fat regardless of the source of the calories. Therefore, if someone is going to follow a low-fat diet, it should be accompanied with a reduction in calories to prevent this from happening. Now let's dive into the research. There have been many studies that involve a low-fat diet for weight loss, but results are mixed. There are also few studies that have examined the effect of a low-fat diet on weight loss alone. Some studies have demonstrated the efficacy of a low-fat diet for weight loss. For example, a 6-month trial that examined 2 different diets, the Mediterranean diet and a low-fat diet, and the impact on waist circumference, found that waist circumference was reduced at 6 months in both groups as well as BMI. However, other studies have failed to produce significant results regarding a low-fat diet and weight loss. Therefore, it is difficult to come to a conclusion. This is partly due to the fact that not all studies define low-fat the same, and some studies restrict other aspects, such as caloric intake, while others do not. It would be beneficial to have more studies done that specifically measure the effects of a low-fat diet on weight loss without comparing it to another diet, such as low carbohydrate, as is seen in a lot of the current research. Overall, there is not a clear answer as to whether a low-fat diet will result in weight loss. However, if you are seeking of methods to lose weight, one thing that is proven to help is a decrease in overall caloric intake. Meeting with a registered dietitian will also be beneficial towards helping develop a healthy meal plan to promote weight loss tailored to your needs. I would like to thank everyone for attending this webinar session. Unfortunately, since this webinar is pre-recorded, I cannot answer any questions live. But if you have a question, feel free to mention it in the comments box below, and I will be sure to answer you. Thanks again for watching.